Hey, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Waiting on this daily candlestick here to flip. So, okay, if we can get up to like 33.73 over there, that would be nice. That would be really good. Yeah, sorry, stream starts a little late here today because trying to fix my internet connection. VPN's not working for some reason. Alright, let me see what we have here. Didn't take this one, so sad. But the swing entry here. Pretty good range. Let me see if this works. Because we are seeing a bit of bearish BA so far here on gold. Down like negative 0.11%. It's not working because Sydney Sweeney broke the internet. Let me try logging out of this stupid VPN here. Alright, let's see. Log out. So we did actually end up having price skyrocket yesterday. So the daily candlestick is still filling that range that we spoke about. All right, let's give this another go over here. All right, the bear is digging. What's that? Going for 75, stops to 68. Stop at 68. Expecting price to move up here. Yeah, that's gonna be like around... How many pips? Roughly like 56 pips. Got a really nice area over here for price to move up too. It's about, you know, like 28 pips. If you want a line on the flip / open, you can always have a line on the open. How do you do that? Set mine here. Asia open. Yeah, this VPN here is cooked. Don't know what's wrong with it today. Oh, it's a good thing we got Elon. Victor's catching that shotgun real quick. That was a pretty nice shotgun this morning. We had a little shotgun this morning here, it seems. Break of the highs, 155. Stop below the candlestick here, about 15.4 pips. Filled up the range towards like 33.74. And actually tapped right at that 65% mark. Look at that. Right at that 65% mark. Then it reversed. So I would say that was the nice little shotgun there. We also got one little shotgun here too. This one went all the way up towards resistance. And what I think is price is trying to correct some of this move here on the left hand side. You know, you got about 28 pips over there. But we can see like price is somehow a bit losing steam. You know, it's like coming down here, creating new lower lows. So I think for a buy, continuation of what we saw, let's say for example yesterday, on Monday, we would have to at least get above that daily or that market open by 33.73. Because as long as we're staying below here, I would say we got more sellers than buyers in the market. So as long as it's below that daily open. So it would be nice to see it like come back around, you know, for this London session here. Like London session can finally trend. Would be nice to have a trending London session. It's been a while. You can have the price start breaking above this area like this and then just keep moving up towards pre-New York time. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Wait, flip such open. Where is it? Day of week on labels. Bid and ask. Which setting is it? Pre-post market. Previous day close. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it here. Scales. Previous day close. Oh, nice. Okay, no, you can't make it. Can you make it thicker? Yeah, you can. How does that look? Pretty clean. See if we can change this up a bit more. Just go full bars. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right, so it looks like price is coming up here. Nice. Because at least if we can start breaking above that daily open, I could imagine that the daily is done creating its bottom wick, and that the daily can now reflip. We can reflip and continue the journey to the summit over here of Mount Everest, of Mount Gold. Here by a 34.31. You know, we still got some ways to go. We still got about, you know, like 461 more pips up towards that resistance point. So that's what I think is happening over here, chat. I think we're just creating bottom wick, and I want to see now price start moving up. Because like for pre-London, you know, pre-London can set up, create that bottom wick for us. And then London session, now we can get kind of more warmed up into the day. So we're just about to flip over here. We just need to push up. How many more pips left? There's about like 5 more pips. Nice. Ooh, nice. There's also a secondary range that's getting filled up over here. Up towards a 33.73. Pretty fat stop loss, but still valid within the range. Now it's at a 65%. You know, it's still filling up the range. Now we're about to get that candlestick flip. This was like similar idea to the buy I took yesterday, you know, because when we took a buy, we're looking at that daily candlestick flipping. Look, we should get volume. We should get some sort of higher time frame volume on that flip. So, you know, that was the idea, you know, get that daily flip in motion. And then if you're already stuck into a trade, then, you know, that's going to play out really nice. Or you're going to expect that that's going to play out really nice for you. But, you know, unfortunately, I missed the first entry. There was a first entry over here that I missed. I was on the charts. Price was breaking. Looked pretty nice, man. It started all the way down over here. This like beautiful buy position right there. Little inverted head and shoulders. Beautiful SMA confluence. Sorry, a little bit earlier. And then just kept on distributing. Came down, retested for a bit, and then continued to push up again. Really nice PA yesterday. Now we're just hovering by... nice little accumulation breaks there too. But now we're just hovering by daily open price. So hopefully we can get some follow-throughs here. Let's see. Yeah, we're still down with about 0% on the daily. Can you make it thicker? No, sir. I think that's a good amount of thickness right here. So it's not too overboard. This is perfect. I think y'all can see it pretty nicely on stream. I was looking just to see how you guys seeing it, because from my end, obviously I see it a lot clearer than you do. I feel like that's too big. From here, I will sell any CCI flip down. So far, it's been a pretty good day. Candlesticks are behaving. Getting some pretty nice confirmations here so far. Oh, that was even a London Open. Ooh, look at this. That broke here at 305. 305 and created that support. Beautiful SMA confluence on this too. Yeah, daily candles is just about to flip. Because I think, you know, we're still not done with this bullish momentum. I'm still expecting from Sunday's analysis that we're still going to be moving up here. So, yeah, man, this is really nice. Look at this beautiful little 8 SMA holding candlestick up. Didn't even create a bottom wick on that break. Little shotgun entry. Little swing entry here. And now I'm waiting. Maybe. I think the next swing entry is going to come by like 33.78. Got about 24 pip range there. But, yeah, I'm going to see if I can get something a little sooner. If possible. See, we started moving up here. Asia lows yesterday, 33.44, pushed up. Yeah, I'd say it's quite directional. It's quite directional since we had NFP over here on Friday. These like more mature sessions are more directional. These are like London session, New York session. So volume's been coming in towards New York though. So yeah, let's see. Having really bad trading days today and yesterday. Yeah, if you guys yourself having a bad trading day, you must just I guess go with the punches. Go with the punches, slow down a bit. Because the worst thing in trading is the losses, you know, you gotta work twice as hard to make losses back. So you wanna, if you take a losing trade, you wanna mitigate that. If you feel like you're losing a lot, you wanna mitigate that by taking even less positions as you wait for markets to go back to normal. And try this VPN again. But nice. Yeah, we just got the daily flip here. See if it can hold this level by 33.73. Oh, you caught two moves today? Nice. Waiting for a little bit more structure to be formed. Oh wow, so far London is actually looking really good. It would be nice to get some kind of a retracement first though. Because price has just been moving up since this area over here. Moving bullish, breaking highs, moving up. It would be nice to see if price can come down a bit and then continue to move up bullish. This might actually be the retracement here. because it has some sort of resistance. It's got some kind of resistance here to get through on the left-hand side. Doing the same shit. Didn't hold any of them. I caught all downs and up tip, but not holding. Just need to fight this. Yeah, you gotta, man, you gotta fight that holding demon. But you know, it only gets easier once you start doing it. Once you do it once and you see it playing out, then it gets easier and easier. So you gotta start somewhere. We all gotta start somewhere. No, I'm not in a sell. The 15-minute traders might have already entered those buys. Yeah, these buys here in the 5-minute time frame are pretty good. It's just like price feels a bit extended here. The thing is, like, it would be nice if it kept pushing up and then retrace from up here. Because if it retraces from here, we're going to get the daily reflip again. Then it's just going to be on neutral. Time is at 3:33. Oh, wow. Price actually from the open, how much should we close? Push up 0.68%. Yesterday's candlestick. Close about 0.30. .68%. And it's still closed below that. So 0.30. Because I'm trying to see how strong this momentum is since Friday. You know, because today we created quite a significant lower low. Okay, so we're still respecting that region. That's that daily area over there. See how that 30 looks. Got a fresh new 30-minute. Oh, 30-minute looks good. Clean range on the left-hand side here on the 30. To continue running up. 30 looks pretty clean. But the hourly, man, hourly is overextended as well. Though, something to consider. So I created a new lower low here in the hourly. It actually looks like a fake out. Because candlestick closed below support. And then the next hourly just ripped back upwards. This is not stopping. Yeah, this is still moving up on 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish candles in a row. Kind of looking a little parabolic. Nice music in the background, mate. Thanks, man. Someone tell Joshua to close his gold buys. We need that retracement. I know, right? Like, these guys are getting paid out. Paid out so much without no retracements. You got buys right here. You got buys right here. No retracements. Just straight bullish candles. Get a retracement here. Wait, let me see. From this range, we got. Yeah, it could be a good move. Suppose maybe the next buy to come above, like a little bit higher up there. Unless price can retrace first a little bit here, and then set up something on the 1 minute time frame to show that it wants to continue moving up. But to be honest, I don't feel too comfortable taking a buy right here, just because of how the hourly candlestick looks. You know, it's like, oh, we're really stretching it. I mean, this thing has already moved like how many pips here? It's already moved like 94 pips. You know, this previous hourly here, okay, did like a 130 pips. So it's in the realm of possibility that price can continue to move up there. But is it the cleanest setup? No, it's not the cleanest. But it is in the realm of possibility. We also got a candlestick close here above 33.73 on and we got some room to fill up on the 30-minute range, about 52 pips. Then it will be like, you know, stop loss I guess would be below the daily flip in the candlestick over here, the 30 candle, which, you know, also makes sense. SMA wise, we don't really have too much trouble with the SMAs, to be honest. But I'm just gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait and see a little bit how price sets up here, how these retracements are gonna look. Just a nice little pullback right now. See that 30-minute. Yeah, just respect that 30 area. Respect that 30 area and consider maybe something like. It would be awesome if we got a new hourly candle right now. Because you see, that's what we're trying to avoid, is this, the pullback. What's the probability price re-breaks its highs and then pulls back again? Got about 20 minutes for this hourly candle closure. That would be kind of like a 30-minute play. So I'm just gauging this move. Just to see how it look. It's pulling down. 5-minute candle just pulled down. Those are the hourly highs right here. Clean range on the left-hand side. Bullish continuation from what we've been seeing since Friday. Just got to get through that 8 SMA on the hourly. Is kind of giving it a hard time there. Should retrace first. Dailies there, positive 0.02%. I like the way the high time frame looks on the left-hand side on the 30. Because I think if it's going to fake out and pull down a bit more, this is already a pretty good situation for it to pull down. With that 30-minute close, break of the previous highs, and then some clean range. If it was going to plan on pulling down a bit more, I don't see it flipping and then re-breaking its own highs to pull down again. I think at that point we get a bit more of a move. So what we're possibly seeing now is some kind of a retracement. some kind of a deeper retracement. See what happens. Let's put it here, waiting. Because I would still look at this as a fake out if candle starts to rip back up like this. Then that would be the fake out here, or extended a double bottom right here. If we create a support, that would be like a double bottom by 33.72. But yeah, the way the 30 looks, at least it's got a lot of room here if it still wanted to retrace down some more. Fill this candlestick up. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good retracement. Man, I need that new internet, chat, man. I need that new internet, the one from what, China? That really fast one. Download the whole Netflix in less than a second. We need that internet, man. I'm so over internet nowadays. Like, internet is something people really need to improve on and make better. Because everywhere I go, I always have some kind of internet issues. Doesn't matter if I'm in a third world country or a first world country. There's always something. I just had to reduce the stream quality here a little bit more so it's stable. Need those qubits. I think it's called what? Qubits? Super fast. Alright, so let's see what happens here. This could still be the fakey too. Break below support, fake out, create another support right here, break the highs. No retracement, straight bullish. Oh, it sounds like FX Vic Mensa song. That's actually a yeah, it sounds pretty nice. No retracement, straight bullish. What do we have yesterday? What was that trade that we took? Was it a buy? Oh yeah, that was a buy. Oh, this was... Oh no, this was... Let's see, 31st? When was this? Oh, this was Thursday. Alright, so it does look like it's going to do a deeper retracement. It doesn't seem like it's going to break above 33.75. So I'm still going to wait and see here. Because we have the hourly closing in the next 13 minutes. 13 minutes. So I think, you know, it's pretty good. It's done like a potential... This could be a potential fake out right here. as we're waiting for hourly, and then the next hourly candle would have more legs for it to continue to move up. Maybe it's going to create another bottom wick. It's going to retrace a bit more below the daily open and then gradually start coming back above the daily open. So it's a slow process. Like it's normal, you know, we're going to hover. We're going to maybe spike above daily open once, come back, play around with it a bit as we create structure to really solidify support in this area. Thing is, I don't want to take a sell yet. Although, yeah, we are seeing some good selling pressure since the Asia. Just kind of gauging the market. Hi, I'm not aware of the shotgun play. Please explain briefly. So it's whenever a candlestick closes above or below a support or resistance, and then you got some clean ranges on the left hand side. So for example, right over here. So notice how candlestick closed above resistance right here, and you got some clean traffic up towards like some resistance here by 33.69. So this is like the bullet in the chamber, and then the break of the highs is gonna be now the shotgun, the shot to keep moving upwards. So it happened there. It happened also right over here. This was during the Asia session time. No stop loss right below that candle to fill this range. See how candlestick filled the range up, and then it came down. Then it did the same thing again down over there too. So yeah, I think that's it. Pretty good. Very clean move. Because you know, markets that move like this. That's why I was thinking maybe on the 30-minute we could see something of the sort here as we're breaking above 33.73. For candle to keep moving up on the rebreak of the highs. But obviously, you know, it's doing some retracements here. I'm still waiting, still patiently waiting. We also got SMAs, confluence. We're just tapping into our SMAs here. 50 and 8 on the 30. We also got a little bit of trouble here on the 50-minute SMA. Just giving PA a little bit of trouble, but I think, you know, we can get up here in the lower time frames. If we can start breaking above that wick high. It's just like a short-term retracement, I think. We have created a new higher high too. So gotta wait and see. I want to be bullish this week. Stream's lagging. Yeah, I got some technical things today. Technical problems. See, how long do we have? About like 9 minutes till the new hourly opened. You gotta buy? Nice. Price is still moving down though. Yeah, after this retracement, it should be good to skyrocket. See what we're sitting at here. Apply default template. So this is like right in between the 50 and 618 golden zone. So just gauging this retracement because, you know, I'm looking to see if London session can keep moving directionally here. So we just create a new higher high off this push. 15-minute golden zone. If it still pulls down, then we got 15-minute. Because we still got the 15-minute area as well. Yeah, the 382 level here too. It sometimes holds if the trend is strong. So I've seen this level hold quite a bit sometimes. So if we can still technically hold this, maybe don't meet the golden zone on the 15-minute, the higher time frame plays. Hold the 382 and then keep moving up a bit more. And then see how I can execute somewhere around here. But I want to see the retracements first finish. A chance for big retrace up from their very risky spot. SL was like 5 pips. But there was a chance for a big move up. There's a little like consolidation breakout that happened here. The entry would have been that daily open, I guess. But kind of lining up the same. So those sellers here getting paid out. See price retraced. Retested their entries and then continue to push down over here. But I was still expecting that to be more of a short-lived position. Let's see. Especially if it starts to come up. So far, they are in the right side of the overall general market, but we did have a small change of character situation that happened right here. The right direction of today's PA. The daily's current PA. But you see how it's consolidating here? It's already giving them a warning sign. Because I think if it starts to break above this area, there has a nice chance of coming back in here. Then retesting again these previous sellers. It's going to shoot back up above that daily open. Why do you feel a big crash? Your spidey senses are tingling, huh? Big crash coming. You gotta listen to that gut feeling. You know, you gotta, sometimes that gut feeling, that's gonna be a true feeling. When you take a trade and you feel good or you don't feel good, it's a true feeling, you know? That's your gut feeling. Ancestral knowledge from the markets. From all the traders who were once living on this earth, they're feeding you that energy. Man, but like, believe it or not, every time I think it's a bad trade, I always, like most of the time, I always take the loss. It's like when I know this is a risky trade, you know, I always somehow get like some kind of loss over there. Like yesterday, for example, I took a buy, but I took the buy pretty late. So I was like, damn, I know this is a risky trade. I could feel it in my gut. You know, even if you look at the setup there, you're going to see like it was during a distribution, right? The candles were moving and we were breaking above the accumulation. It was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have confidence because because price has ranged all day and I'm expecting price to move up bullish, and this is a pre-New York time. And what I've been seeing of late is a lot of pre-NY direction typically kicks in during this time that I'm on the charts. You know, I even had a streak over here of some really nice Bumbleclad trades all happening at the same time. Look at this. This was by 7:10. You know, 7:10, I got this buy here, Bumbleclad. 7:10 the next day, I got this buy here, Bumbleclad. You know, these trades were just running trades. And then I took another trade here, back to back, 7:22 a.m. Look at this, another winning trade. 6% on that trade I made. 6%. So this 7 a.m. time, I'm like, okay, you know what? I know this is a risky entry, but the timing is on point. You know, the entry was here at 7:05. 7:05 when I'm expecting that volume to really be kicking in. So I was like, okay, you know what? I know it's a dumb trade. It's a risky trade or aggressive trade. It's not a dumb trade, but it's an aggressive trade. Let me just try and see it through somehow. You know, and eventually price did continue to move up there. But you see, that's what I mean. It's like when you know, you just know, because I saw the entries already here came in earlier. These are such good, pristine entries. So now I was just really banking on volume to push price up. And it was also breaking this overall accumulation zone right here. So we had accumulation and I wanted to see distribution from this general area. So I was like, okay, let me just give it a shot. That's pretty good. Came back, retested for a bit. Still respected stop loss area on that retest though. But on the initial one, it spiked through my stop loss about like 2 pips. Y'all know how I usually do it. When I believe in my trade, sometimes I would like, sometimes I would give like a little extra room. You should see on stream sometimes you give like 2-3 pips, something like that. But now we're coming back up again. See a little distribution, like that's how I say this is like a little bit of a warning over here from these previous sellers. So that was what I mentioned before, like they're just getting a bit of a warning from the market, telling it that we had a change of character up over here, and you know we can potentially just keep moving up here for the London. It's quite interesting. The London is not yet consolidating. No, like we're used to. It seems like it's still on the way up. It's still trying to push up here. Not seeing anything too interesting though yet. Yeah, control the feelings while trading is so difficult. Yeah, it's so difficult. It can be so difficult if you don't have a mechanical plan. You know, you gotta hold yourself accountable. Somehow. It can be even more so if you don't have the experience, you know, if you're not able to make these sort of like judgment calls. Because if you take a losing trade, you really kind of beat yourself up that you were not exactly following your rules. But this is kind of like these judgment calls. These are like what you can call even an impulsive entry based from experience. You know, but problem is a lot of new traders, they want impulsive entries with no experience. My bullet to take trade has been used and can't take any other shot. Getting a new hourly candlestick opening here. Hourly volume coming in. Man, hourly still does not even have the top wick over there. By 33.73, still no top wick. Hey, what's up, Armando? Hey, there's no top wick. No top wick. Price is pulling down again. We need to respect this daily area over here. Get on the reflip. Stop loss below, let's say 34, 24.6. 24.6-ish pips, because that will be the reflip of the hourly too. me see how this looks. See you here on the hourly. So hourly will reflip. Okay, we'll be filling the hourly at that point. Bottom wick has been formed. Clean range on the left hand side. Daily will be up, I think 0. By the time we're getting in, that's going to be 0.3%. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of daily confluence, but at least based off the way price has been behaving here, expecting the retracements and everything, and with the new hourly open, we could see that push. See how the 1 minute here looks. Oh, now I gotta pee all the time. Every time. Right before trade. On stream. Always on stream. So let's see. Can we get a break and a skyrocket? It's because it would be creating the lows. Let me remove the kill zones here. Yeah, that's how it kind of looked like. That's how it looked like on the 15. See, 15 minute, like, we still don't have the top wick since the hourly open over here. Get beautiful little rejection off these levels. Couple of rejection wicks, reflip. See if we can make it up there. 30 minute, yeah, that's a healthy bottom wick. Chasing towards those 30 minute SMAs. Hourly SMA could hold as well. If this candlestick starts to reflip, we're gonna get SMA confluence. Gotta get through that 15 though. We'll be just bumping into the 15 on entries. But all the other time frame SMAs are in our favor in confidence. So let me see if this structure here can remain valid though. Get a bucket under your desk. Yeah. Come on, Goldie, let's skyrocket. Let's skyrocket. I know you got this. That daily flip. We already created the daily lows. Man, look at how much room we have to move up. Towards 33, 34, 30 over there. Create the daily lows. You know, it's been a while since we've seen these distributions. Like really big distributions during the London. Would be nice to at least have, you know, a day here where this week that we can see that happen. You feel like you should sell everything you have here? Well, what do you mean sell everything you have here? You know, that could mean two things. You can either be talking about getting into a sell or securing profits from a buy. Because, you know, when you take profits, it's like selling. Just kind of anticipating a candlestick to do something like this anytime soon here with this new hourly. At least so we can go and create that hourly top wick. Just start to skyrocket up. Still pushing down though. I want to see if I could get a tighter stop loss as price comes up there. Price ranging. Yeah, it looks like the Xauusd is having a bit of a hard time here to come up. Now I'll be right back, chat. Remember that Xauusd still does not have a top wick. Your daily bias is bearish. I want to sell my emotions here. Yeah, I mean, like, the sell was still valid. You know, there was a sell that even played out earlier here by 33.73 as the daily candlestick was flipping. You also had daily confluence here too by that level, 33.73. Daily was flipping. This was a nice little sell-off. Looks like you retested the sellers again one last time. Instead of faking them out, retested one last time and then hit some profit targets here, possibly by 33.70. But usually, you know, the problem is like sometimes people they want to hold a bit longer. It could just be even like a bit this much, but then the market will retrace, get them out of break even, and then hit their profit target. So, you know, the market moves based off psychology. It doesn't necessarily move based off strategy. That's how you can sort of break barriers and get onto the next level in your trading careers. Once you start seeing the market for what it is, and it's just going to move the way it moves, correct? Eventually, it's going to pick a direction. But obviously, you want a strategy which can get you in like certain good areas in the market, correct? So you can get those distributions. But the market's going to move with or without the FVG or without the Fibonacci or without the support resistance. It is going to move. So you kind of understand it from a different perspective. Price retest at 15-minute open range and now it's going up. Yeah, what I'm seeing is we're currently at a point A over here. We're currently sitting at a point A. If there's going to be a move, it's most likely coming out of this zone. Like a much larger time frame. This is like some short-term sells. You can make some good money from those short-term sells right here. But I'm kind of thinking like, where's that next move going to be for the London Open? So I'm seeing we have a bit of accumulation here. And if we break these highs, first of all, we're going to be getting the hourly reflip. I don't think the hourly candlestick has even flipped yet. Yeah, hourly has not yet even flipped. So we're going to get the hourly reflip after creating hourly lows. So price can be able to create new hourly highs over here. And on the 30-minute, it still looked pretty good. You know, 30 closed above resistance by 33.73. Obviously, it's just having some sort of retracements there. The previous hourly was quite overextended. So I'm guessing this is like you know, trading is all about educated guesses, correct? Educated guesses based off probabilities and stats. So this is what I'm anticipating, or just a retracement because of the previous hourly candle being overextended a bit. But remember, candle can always keep moving up. It could keep moving up an extra 50 more pips, but just for the sake of what we typically like to see, we don't typically like to see candlesticks move 86 pips and then want to get like a buy like this, correct? We don't typically like to see that. We'd rather even get in on the candle when it's a bit more smaller. But you still got to break that psychological barrier for yourself, because theoretically price can also continue moving up. You know, just like it did on the previous candles. It can replicate those previous moves and still have more pips. Because, you know, that's when your emotions really start coming to play. Is like when you think the market can't move anymore upwards, you know, like, and then you keep selling the tops. You try sell the tops because we're creating all-time highs, and you're like, damn, how many all-time highs can we create? You know, because you got a psychological barrier, you got some limitations on the market. Market really, you gotta look at what it's capable of. The previous candlesticks, what they were capable of. Because I know on gold, man, on any given day we can move like, you know, 400 pips, 500 pips. This daily candlestick has only moved like a total volume from wick to wick about 168 pips. So I know gold, realistically, the daily can come and close here by 34.15 based off of previous data. So it looks small now. But candlestick can make it all the way up here if it wanted to by 34.15. And previous days have been bullish. Look at this daily candle over here. From the market open, it closed at 2.23%. This was on Freaky Friday. 2.23%. You know, this candle is currently sitting at 0.03%. So we obviously haven't had like the daily direction yet. So that's how I'm assuming or anticipating that if we're consolidating here and we start breaking the highs, you know, then price is going to move up. I think that's going to be a very good idea. Then price can move up. But if you have a selling bias, if you think price is going to sell off, maybe if you break below like 33.70, then you can anticipate that the next candlesticks can distribute from this area, because you're going to look back at it in hindsight, right? And any sort of moves that start to distribute, whether that's going to be a bomber clout distribution to the upside,
we don't do that here.
or a bomber clout sell-off, it's going to be something you're going to trace back to this area over here. Because what else are you going to do? You're going to take a sell here? You're going to take a sell here during the distribution? You can, if you want. Some people are going to be looking for buys when that's happening too. And now this is just accumulation. So, you know, everybody here is kind of like sitting on their hands for the most part. People are going to look at this like a range, right? And say the market's not moving anywhere right now. You got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's like every round, correct? It's like the market moves in rounds. So this is like a round here. Everybody's getting ready. You know, you got the counter trend people. They're getting ready over here to see if their trade's going to play out. You got the distribution people. They're getting ready to see once we break these lows, if price can continue to distribute towards the downside or even towards the upside. So it's like a waiting game. It's a waiting game. Now we're going to see what the probabilities were for people to have successful trades. But right now, you know, it's just moving sideways. Some people already in, even. Maybe some people still got some buys from here. Some people getting some sells here. But I'm more focused on what's currently happening in the market right now. Because it's always after the price moves, you're going to start seeing people talk about trades, correct? So they don't talk about trades when it's not moving. So that means that they're still setting up. You know, we're always setting up over here. You got a wick showing an MT5? Yeah, on MetaTrader you're gonna have the wicks because the wicks on the brokers move a bit more. The prices are different, slightly different. You get more wicks on the broker. It's just the thing is I don't wanna buy below that daily open. I'd rather buy above the daily open price, which is also part of the setup. But there's an earlier setup here. You know, that's the thing. If this one distributes, there's an earlier move that could be coming in. And I'll just be catching the continuation. Some people get in a bit earlier, and then I'll be catching the continuation up here. This is more of an aggressive entry. That's like right on the daily flip though. Which is actually not bad. Right on the daily flip. Oh, wait a bit longer. Damn, this is a very interesting situation that this entries are coming in here. Getting on the daily flip. Wait a bit longer. Wait a bit longer. You get a sure entry. Right? You get a sure entry. Problem is, break-evens, you're going to have to wait for price to push a bit more for the break-even. Whereas if you got the earlier entry, you could break even sooner. So, you know, sometimes it's even less risky to take the sooner entry. You're going to have TP hit sooner and you're going to have break-evens hit sooner. But I think for this specific situation here, let me wait. Sometimes those daily flips can be a bit troublesome. You know, you get a slight flip and then it flips back. At least this way the daily will be at a solid 0.03%, which is not that much. Or at least it's something. Get a little bit more of that daily bias in my favor in Confluence. Why not buy now? Just because I've been explaining now. We're below daily open. 0.5 lot is a lot. 0.5 lot is a lot. Hey Vic, what's going on here?
Spartans!
Getting ready. I just want to see a direction here come in from that London session. Auli's about to flip. Look at this. Auli still had no top wick. Ali's about to flip here for me. All right, Ali just flipped. Ooh, holy, we're skyrocketing already. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this is the daily open. Ooh, and it got Ali flip there too. There's a little bit of a sooner entry right here, right there. Volume is really starting to kick in. This 5 minute doesn't have a bottom wick though. Alright, so anyway, got my buy here. See now if you can skyrocket. So this is where I'm anticipating price can continue moving. That 5 minute was quite an aggressive push. It looks like we do have a bottom wick actually on the 5 minute. Gonna have to wait. Gonna probably anticipate some drawdown here because the 5 minute has to close first. Since the 5 minute already pushed quite a bit there, about 25 pips. Might expect some drawdown for this. Daily is bullish. See, we're reflipping bullish here. Create the daily lows. So after being bearish, would not be expecting price to be reflipping back downwards there on the daily. Be expecting some kind of direction to be kicking in now. The first entry's got some pretty nice profits there. Oh, a pretty decent push at least off the rip. Because they got the daily open and they got the hourly. They got the daily open flip and they got the hourly flip right here. So they're able to get a little bit more of a solid push. Let me see how far theirs pushed. Oh yeah, they got about, yeah, pretty solid push. But they could be getting taken out right here. Potentially a break even too. So what I was more looking for is more looking for a kind of like a bigger move. Kind of like a bigger bias of that general region. Over here. Bigger distribution. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for that 5 minute to close first. Oh, it looks like it closed. All right, new 5 minute open. Pretty healthy bottom wick, which has already been formed on the hourly there too. Pretty nice retracement off the open. Pushed down about 30 pips. Created the lows. Got that little 8 SMA. 8 SMA confluence right there. So I want to see that 8 SMA hold this hourly candlestick. Price supporting 200 SMA at 5 minute. I also got the 1 minute SMAs. One minute, 5 minute. Retracements are fine for now. Just don't want to see something too aggressive though on the closure on the 15-minute. Because I don't want to see a fake out, you know, a fake out like this. So I'd like to see this thing, at least in the last 2 minutes, close up a bit more bullish within this region. Because, you know, sometimes the market does something like this. You see, okay, so this is a very tight example here. But you see how a candlestick comes up, kind of takes out some highs. And then if it starts to move down, you're going to look back at that in hindsight. And that's going to just look like a liquidity grab right over here. If this candlestick was just to keep moving down. Because that's typically how the liquidity grabs would look like. And then you're going to see something like this, basically. After something like that happens. So I'm really anticipating with the way price was behaving that this was a break to not liquidity grab, but to confirm the momentum to the upside. So we just need a bit more structure here. We created like one support. Let's see if it's going to be possible for a stop loss reduction of sorts. Tighten the stops a bit more. If I can get a little bit more structure towards the upside. See, candlestick is closing here. 5 seconds. Gonna get the new 30 open as well in the next 30 seconds. Place a buy stop now. Let's see if we come back up. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce my risk here. I'm gonna reduce my risk a bit more. Because I don't like the way it's starting to push down so aggressively. I did not want to see it push down that much. So I'd manage if it breaks below like 33.71. It's a new 30-minute open. Still doesn't have a top wick. It would be beautiful if it creates a support over here and re-breaks the highs. Because there's a small chance of a distribution coming in from this point by 33.72. Yeah, it's pushing down. See, flirting. Man, it doesn't even create that top wick. No top wick? Alright, I'm closing there. Screw it. Man, no top wick even. Yeah, I think it was a good management there. Looks like it's just not ready to move. That was a liquidity grab on the 15. That's the thing with the London. It's like, man, we got to be very cautious about these follow-throughs. Because if this was a pre-New York trade, this would have definitely had a better probability to distribute above. See, this buy at 422. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Shouldn't do this. It shouldn't break these highs and then immediately start to come down. Even if it respects this area here by 33.71. I don't like it. You just bought now? STK. Oh man, look at this. Imagine it just skyrockets up now after doing all that drawdown. Because just tapped into the SMAs. Still got the SMAs on the 30 holding it. Got the 8 and the 50. $8 and 50 still holding it. 15 still holding it. 5 minute looks like it's still holding it. Deep drawdown though. Still holding the last one. Why'd I close if the SMAs are catching up? Well, because usually what I'm used to is if my trade is gonna play out, I want to see it play out immediately. Like this is a pretty big drawdown because it immediately triggered here and then started coming down like this. So from what I've been seeing, at least for most of my good trades, they don't even give me this much of a hard time. So I just opted to take the risk management route on that one and lose a little bit less. Because we shouldn't have done that. Like price should not be breaking highs and then having such deep drawdowns. Typically that only happens in fake out scenarios. You know, like such situations like this. Here on the left hand side, breaks highs and then starts to quickly come down. So most of the time you're gonna know the quality of the trade once you get triggered in. And for me this was already a bit annoying. So yeah, I mean, like in hindsight, we did have the SMAs. Maybe we could have hold out a bit longer. But that's something I've kind of been cautious about with the London sessions. It's because when something like this happens, to me this already is like signaling no follow-throughs again for London, and we're just gonna consolidate up until pre-New York. So you know, we have like a support over here and we got a resistance. So this is a sort of range that we're stuck in. You see, what I was anticipating on entries was that price would just keep moving up like this, you know, and then we would get like a follow through or continuation. But instead, it's decided to stay in the range in typical London fashion. You know, that's why, you know, like I was thinking, okay, so we're up 0.03%. That this could have been enough for the daily to get like a little bit of a kickstart to start off the day into the pre-New York. But it looks like daily is reflipped again. And now we're down negative 0.02%. Yeah, so it is what it is. Now fully head and shoulders formed. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense here anymore. I do wish you gave me a little tighter stop loss, though. That would be nice. Managed risk by 50%. I think I only cut off like 20, maybe like 20%. 20% off that move. Can't find an entry on AU. Let's up this 169.15. Yeah, so this... Oh, August gains. Why is August gains saying plus 182%? What the hell is going on here? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. Dun. Yeah, the problem started here. 1.83. .83, and then this to divide that by 0.86. All right, there we go. Yeah, August here. Taken about 4 trades so far in August. First trade was a loss. Got a couple of W's here, and then another loss here. All right, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, the moment it starts giving you a hard time, it's already telling you that something's not right. So you gotta look at how can you manage your risk. Oh yeah, I think it was a percentage. Looks nasty on the 15 though. There's a classic little pull down pattern over here. Damn, I really wanted to see this volume kick in from yesterday. But seems like price is just going to either hold certain levels like this, and then we're gonna get a better idea as we approach pre and Y again what this daily is gonna do. Whether daily continues to retrace, or if we can still keep moving up to fill up that range on the daily on the left hand side. Here comes your sell-off feeling. It's not the biggest range here. If you're trading down towards support, that's by 33.69. Got about 12 pips. So you still have that one speed bump there. But if you're taking off the 15 minute, I guess 15 minute looks a lot cleaner. Then you could use that area here as a fake out confluence. If you think price is going to move down, gotta at least break this wick. I would say by 33.70. Break that wick and then you got some room for price to continue moving down towards support. Yeah, I mean, like, also the SMA is a beautiful way of using, but remember, they're just for the moment as well. They're just for the moment. So you're going to see like a small reaction. You see like how we had that reaction over here, Mr. Rashid? Like you're going to see like small reactions off of them, correct? But at the end of the day, price action is king. So if you see price come down like this, take out highs and then continue to struggle, create supports, and the supports are not holding and price continues to push down, at that point, the PA is telling you like the overall trade is just weakening. But it's nice to have. You know, it's nice to have the SMAs there, especially if you haven't managed risk yet. Because you do have those reactions off of them. And then it kind of like sometimes even saves the position. And, you know, then price can continue in that direction. I have my self-filling and gold moving towards selling. Yeah, if you got a self-filling, reason is because we created like a pretty significant low right over here. So you can see the way the market is slanting more towards the downside. It's kind of showing like some kind of weakness, right? So this was the first kind of change of character right over here. That formed like a new lower low, breaking significant point. So that's what's making it feel like it's selling off, like that self-feeling. I also feel it, but you know, like for me, this was not enough. I'm more looking at what we've been doing the previous days. And you know, the jobs data we've been getting and you know, how gold has been progressing over here. That's what I want to see follow through. Because then sometimes when you just get it for the first time, a new lower low being formed, that could just be a fake out for price to move upwards. Because look, you know, if this trade over here played out, in hindsight, what it would look like as well would be an inverted head and shoulders like this. If we start getting candlesticks to move up, you're going to look back at it in hindsight and it's going to also somehow make sense to you. You got inverted left shoulder head, right shoulder over here. Even though we did create that new lower low, you know, that could be like that fakey and then get that bullish continuation from yesterday. And then to continue filling up that range, that clean traffic here. Yeah, I'm still up for the day, so it's okay. I think I'll just look for another trade later. But then you can continue filling up some of this range. Here, re-break the daily highs. That's kind of what I'm expecting for the rest of the day. So we'll just see. Just kind of gauging the market here. But beautiful, beautiful little sell-off. You know, this is something that I love to see. When if I'm expecting a sell and I'm taking it based off like an accumulation breakout, then I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, man, you know, this is a beautiful little accumulation and we got a fake out even above that accumulation. A little fake out to break the lows and then to continue coming downwards. But in this situation, I became the faked. So you can't always avoid the fake outs. But it's nice if you can see them as you're getting into your positions and say, okay, so we just got some buyers stuck in here, so we can like squeeze them out of their trades. Because that's what happened over here. I got squeezed. Because it's not only me taking these trades. It's not only me who took a loss on that buy. A lot of people were taking buys over there. That's the reason why the market came all the way up here in the first place. You know, so it's kind of like squeezing. Now it's squeezing everybody out. So I got out because I was already like, okay, I sense danger. Let me run back into my hole and save the little bit of money that I have. But remember, all traders share the same risk. Some traders, they're more risk. They take more risk. So this is the market continuing to squeeze them out. So I was out here and people are still going to hold here. And that's what also makes this a very good sell. You know, because what's the probability a buyer holds against a move like this? Most of them are going to close out their positions and it's going to facilitate that push there too. But, you know, if you're already on the sell side and you already foresaw all of that happening, then, you know, you can kind of ride that momentum as well and aid the advance towards the downside. So, you know, trading's all a game of buyers and sellers. So, you know, this time I was on the wrong side of the team. Or let's just say this time I was on the losing probability of the team. You know, it's not a bad team. Doesn't mean it's a bad team just because they lose. You know, just because they lose a game doesn't mean they're a bad team. Even in soccer, football, whatever, no team wins all the time, correct? Doesn't mean they're a bad team. That's what trading is. Hey, good morning, good morning. Did I lose on that trade? Yeah, I lost about 0.87%, 0.86. Feel like today will be the first red day. When to pick up demand. Could be just taking out some of the previous buyers in there too. Because remember when we came onto stream, there were these trades which were already playing out. There's a buy here. There was another swing entry model here. So those two areas got played out nicely. But when you look at it in hindsight, it kind of just looks like the market wanted to grab a few more orders here too. The last buy orders before coming down to rebalance this area over here. Because the market's not going to leave these guys in profit. That's why we're wondering how long the market was going to keep moving up here without the retracement. So it's kind of like rebalancing. So I guess that's why the sells came. So as you mentioned, it's coming down for some demand. Yeah, probably going to come down, and then we're going to see what happens here. But since the London Open, price has been, moving from this support to this resistance. It's about like a 100 pip range. It's just holding this general zone. So we haven't yet seen any sort of direction. Also, the daily's just been moving back and forth between bullish and bearish. Now it's down negative 0.15. We can't even see like 0.20, 0.30. Hey, Sean, thank you for the sub. I think last week's jobs numbers and the jobs corrections for May and June caught everyone off guard. Yes. Let's see what's going on here. Gold futures flat, defending recent gains on weak US jobs data. The precious metal had gained after Friday's non-farm payroll data came in significantly below expectations, as well as carrying major downward revisions to previous month's numbers. This boosted the likelihood of Federal Reserve easing monetary policy. A lot of people think September here. Like, it's really... There's so much pressure on September for the rate cuts this time. But I'm still thinking October. Sustaining momentum will hinge on suppressed US dollar and treasury. And additional supportive inflation. Alright, let's see. Anything else here? Gold extends gains on Fed rate cut bets. Wow, beautiful sell-off there though. Traders are now pricing in a 94.4% chance the Federal Reserve will cut rates next month. Did this thing actually... Did we get the change? Let's see here on the Fed website. 94% already. Holy, should have checked this after the FOMC. After the non-farm payroll. Oh, we got easing on 88.1%. Why is gold not moving up? We should be moving up. Come on, Goldie. This is going to be towards, that's 17th September. But we got time. We got plenty of time, I guess. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Roughly like 5 weeks. Five and a half. Oh, man, we got time. Yeah, we got time. But this is some nice bullish exuberance here. 88.1% easing already in September. Gold safe haven demand appeal was further boosted by trade uncertainties, as Trump's latest wave of tariff on exports from dozens of trading partners is set to take effect August 7th. But that's the closest one that we have that could bolster like price of gold up. That's gonna be on Thursday. Man, come on, Goldie. What is this? NY is going up, I think. Between now and rate decision, there will be inflation data and more jobs data. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see gold continue to move bullish, but he will move up. I think he will move up later at New York time. But we still have to climb back towards that daily flip. Now we're seeing some sort of direction. Hovering below 0.20%. But we still got to get through that support at least for some continuation. Below like 33.66. Yeah, it's the worst. If there was one thing I would change about the market if I could is to eliminate these, because this is a certain probability of my losing trades that it's, you know, sometimes you get these variations of how you're going to lose a trade. Sometimes it's like a pure fake out and you can see it on the chart, and then sometimes it's just like a normal loss. But usually the market sometimes does a fake out. It creates like this type of structure. I wish the market didn't do that. If it didn't do that, I would have well, my P&L is pretty good, but I think for a lot of traders in general, we would have a lot better experience, I would say, because those kind of like for me seem unnecessary. And it's not like it happens like that often, but it does happen. Like in a month that contributes, it's a variable that contributes to your P&L. You know, when you get these sort of like, you know, the market should not even break these highs if it doesn't want to move up. If it wanted to move down, it shouldn't even break above these highs. But you know, it slightly does that. It will sometimes slightly do it and then do the opposite direction. So that's quite intentional. That here. So, you know, when you're doing your P&L, when you're looking at your P&L for the month, these are like some small things which you can add into your P&L. You know, it's like a business expense. Basically, it's like a cost of doing business. You know, like when you own a business, sometimes you pay these things which is like fees. You know, you pay like a fee or something like that. So this is like a business fee. You know, it's like you're paying the mafia. The mafia is something a little here on the side to keep operating. And in this case, the market is the mafia. So sometimes you're going to have like situations like this where you got to pay like some fee, which is quite unfortunate. But it is what it is. Anyway, beautiful correction over here. Heading down towards 33.66. Beautifully filled up that range. July was fire. Yeah, July was a good month. August, slowly easing into August over here. August so far has been decent. It's still the beginning. Hard to say how August is going to unfold. But, you know, so far it's been quite decent. This is just the third trading day of August. I'll put 2 of my trades in Discord. Can you give feedback? Yeah, this is silver longs. Silver looks like it's been moving up. It's heading towards all-time highs here. But I think that's $50. $50 all-time highs. Yeah, but your trade, this was yesterday. That was yesterday. All right, let's see. Second trade down for the day. Hit 65% mark, securing on 20 pips. Oh, this is yeah, I say it looks pretty good. Expecting price to fill up the range on the left-hand side. Got taken out. My idea was market correcting the move on the left. There was some range to be filled and didn't work out. If there's an accumulation in here, that would be nice. Otherwise, I think waiting for the candle wick here to break would also be a good shot. Like waiting for it to re-break the previous candle highs. But let's see over here. There was some range to be filled, but didn't work out. Where's the range? You gotta add it on the picture over there. Because it could be like a higher time frame range. It looks pretty far. Because sometimes if you take like a trade on the lower time frame and it's high time frame range, you can also get stopped out prematurely like this. And then maybe the higher time frame structure survives, and then price continues to move downwards. See, first trade of the day. Nice little sniper entry. Now we could expect some kind of reaction at the bottom of the range here by 33.66. It's filled up this zone. Beautiful. Love to see it. Any news today? Oh, today we got today we have ISM services PMI, which looks like numbers should be coming in, I guess, neutral bullish. An increase from 50.8 to 51.5, so it's like neutral bullish. Man, looks like the daily flip really did try, but it couldn't sustain it. Pushed above it. Flip bearish, flip bullish, flip bearish, flip bullish one last time, and then completely tumbled. I actually think there were two grabs that happened here. There was one above this wick area, but it came really close. This one did. Oh man, this thing's pushing. It didn't actually break very strong, but it did it like a small little, you know, 0.3 break. 0.3 break. Very tiny break there. It looks like it was setting up for these massive sells. Just so happened to get caught in the second one here. Don't you use the EQ? What's that? Equalizer? I use equalizer on my microphone. I don't know about any other EQ. Let's wait for change of character before long. Yeah, no, this is done. This is done. This was the London move here. It was a sell. So now we're heading towards pre-New York in the next hour. And then with pre-New York, we're going to get a different sort of direction. Or I would anticipate now the longs to start coming in during that time. But we'll see how market's set up. Equilibrium. I just read candles. I don't know about equilibriums. Took the sell on small pullback. Oh, small pullback. Let me see if there's actually scale-in opportunity for that sell. Got on the 1 minute. Oh, no. You got the pullback right here. All right. So price moved up a little bit. And then you caught the pullback. Man, this was... You know, when you look at it in hindsight, it always looks so good. Always looks so good. Little fakey above here. Break below the lows. Stop loss, you know, stop loss within the range, even above this area over here. And then price moved down. But you see, the thing is, I didn't have a bearish bias. If I had a bearish bias, I would have waited for the sells. I wouldn't wait for the buys above here. I would have just waited for the sells below here. And whilst that's all setting up, I'm looking at this and thinking, wow, that looks pretty good. You know, but I had a bullish bias, so, you know, I took the buys. I also got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder formation, little SMA crossover. Oh, man, that looks so good. Half of the swing high and low, awesome to determine bias. Half of the swing high and low. I guess my equilibrium here was the daily open. This was the equilibrium. So, you know, as we're breaking above it, then I'm like, okay, so now we're in positive equilibrium. Then it started breaking below it. Daily candlestick flips. You know, if the daily is moving up bullish, then I think I'm always more comfortable with the buys. It was moving down, then, you know, the sells. Maybe wait for the fib sells later. Oh, Fibonacci retracement and then sell off. What'll be good is you know, it's creating some really nice range here for that pullback towards the upside. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candlesticks in a row. That's how I was like, man, I wish that daily could just give me a little bit more confidence. You know, because this was like, I was really just trying to squeeze something out here. Because we're only up 0.3% on the daily, on the break, on the entries on the break. I would have loved if we're, you know, if we're trending a little bit more, would have been nice. But yeah, but man, you know, with everything happening in the market right now, I'm actually anticipating a lot of bullish exuberance. Since even our Sunday analysis here, I still believe price can come up towards a 34.30. Only issue is London has been letting me down, man. Like, this thing is not giving the daily follow-throughs. It's only giving the like, it just has a few moves, and then it's mostly pre-New York, which gives a follow-through. It's kind of boring. It's been a trend with the London session of late, like since the whole of July. The whole of July was like this as well. So we've been pretty much trading the trenches. So I'm just kind of still waiting to see when London is going to shape up again. You know, it still gives good moves. Don't get me wrong. It's still pretty nice moves. Equilibrium changes though on every time frame is different. Yeah, now you see that's a problem there. Because if it's on every time frame different, that's going to create some sort of analysis paralysis, I think. But you see, the daily is on one time frame. The daily is either going to be bullish or it's going to be bearish. It's like the point of control. You know, point of control, I guess if you use it on one time frame, it's a bit better, but point of control also changes on the time frames. So I try and avoid those types of things which just keep changing. You know, sometimes even Fibonacci changes. Because, you know, you could think this, oh man, and we got Fibonacci retracement in there too. There's a bit of a nice confluence for that buy. We tapped into the 50,618 respected price action over there for price to possibly continue to move up bullish. But you see also with the Fibonacci, it's a bit fractal because this can also be from this low to this high. because that's going to look cleaner on something like the 15-minute time frame. So sometimes you got to be very careful about those things, you know, because then you keep like, take a buy here, it fails. Then you say, oh, okay, so we got a bigger one. Take a buy, fail. It's the same thing as a fair value gap as well. You know, I think FVGs are also kind of the same thing, because you're going to draw something here. Maybe you're going to say that's a fair value gap. I think, I don't know how you draw it, but yeah, something like this. And then you're always going to have sometimes even more, and price can just keep going through them. So just try and avoid systems which are like this, where it's like those Russian dolls, you know? Like, sure, the markets are fractal. You can't escape the fact that the markets are fractal, but you have to find a way that it's not too overly confusing. You know, otherwise you're going to get these Russian dolls, which just keep, you know, you open one up and then you got like a smaller one and a smaller one and a smaller one and a smaller one. So it's like, which one should you go with? Got 700 pips on that move. Just took out my trailing SL. Wait, what do you mean you got 700 pips? Had a brilliant move there. Just took my trailing stop. 700 pips. What's that? On the 1 minute? I think you mean 70 pips. 70 pips. This gold on the 1 minute time frame. Yeah, 70 pips. Because the daily itself has only moved like from wick to wick, only about 185 pips. About 184 pips. There's a big gap on green candle in daily. Maybe it's going down to take that, not sure. Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's like whoever had a sell bias here, they just had a profitable trade. You know, so now it's just back to setting up again. Because remember what I said, this was a point A. If you remember what I said price is either going to distribute upwards from this area or it's going to distribute bearish. So it's just the ones who are looking for a sell in this zone, they got a profitable trade. So you remember we draw this thing? So now it's back to waiting again. It's going to have to set up another sort of region like this. Now you're going to give yourself a second chance. You know, you're going to take 1 or 2 trades a day. I want this lower high break at the M1 and then I'm buying. So why would that be a problem? I found that if you just look at the 5-minute EQ, it's very indicative of where price will eventually go. Yeah, it's the same reason I don't use like volume indicators, because you know the candlesticks are already very indicative of where price is gonna go. So you don't need like a third-party tool. You know, the more third-party tools that you use, I think sometimes it's not a good idea. Because if candlesticks start to break areas, let's say if you're looking for a sell and it breaks the lows, that's already showing to you what direction that it wants to go. Because it doesn't matter what the EQ says. Just look at what the price is saying. You know, market's either going to be bearish, sideways, or bullish. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. Just get good at reading the candles. I always say the foundation is the most important. So if you learn how to read the candlesticks, learn about wicks, rejections, market direction, news, fundamentals, I feel like those things are more foundational than slapping on an EQ or like a third-party tool. I prefer like reading. And you can use that as confluence, you know, but the problem with that is sometimes it gives you analysis paralysis. So for example, if the SMAs here are not in your favor in confluence, but the PA is telling you that price is coming down, even if liquidity grabs above here, then what happens? You scare yourself out of the trade because you got some indicators on there. You know, maybe the volume indicator is telling you that there's a lot of buying volume, you know, a lot of buying volume, and then you don't take the sell, and then you miss out on a move. So now you've outsourced your analysis to some dumb indicator, you know, whilst you have a fully functioning brain and you can make all the decisions, you know. And I think human traders are going to be way better than these indications. So just get good at reading price, I would say. Because all you get is candlesticks, you know. When you start a trade, all you see is candles, you know. At the end of the day, you're trying to catch the candlesticks. Whatever happens behind the scenes, man, all that other stuff is something that you can't really see. But what we see here is candles. Because some people, they use moving averages, some people, they don't. Some people use pivot points, some people don't. And you know, all these are like mathematical equations, which can sometimes overcomplicate your trading. It's very deep, guys. Like, I love this thing that Luke sent me the other day here. This is pretty awesome. Let me show you guys how seriously difficult it is to gain this data that you're over analyzing about. Look at this, guys, here. This guy's over here. This is a submarine. This is a submarine that listened to Wall Street. You know, because you got those cables. Wait, let me just go back over here. Oh, I don't have the full screen mode anymore. Modified with black market sonar gear. The sub silently parked near one of the world's busiest undersea internet cables. So, submarine was parked next to one of the busiest undersea internet cables linking Asia to Europe. Within days, milliseconds of market data began to leak. Just enough time for an obscure Dubai-based trade. Man, I really wish y'all could hear this. You see the lengths people go to get liquidity information. And it's ridiculous how people think they're going to spend $50 or $100 on a stupid book map and say, oh, but this little ball over here, it's like, it's a big ball. So, you know, there's a lot of liquidity. It doesn't make sense. Then why would people be going through all this trouble? Like, getting data in trading is so expensive. So like all you see is candlesticks, you know, like all this other stuff happening behind the works, those can really mess your trading up. But this was insane, chat. Man, that is insane. That's also like very smart. That's also very smart. No hacking, no nothing, just listening. Tapping into it, tapping into the market low key. That is genius. It's basically the point where buyers and sellers were both satisfied, aka a place where the market was stable. Yeah, that's something else. Like it is insane the amount of effort they put into these things, you know? Like they even have obviously these programs which listen to vocals and to see the difference in vocals. So like that's if Powell is saying something and he's saying it and it's like a lie detector basically based off his vocal frequencies, and they're always like analyzing these things. And man, when it comes to markets, people spend hundreds of millions of dollars trying to figure out the markets. It's like equivalent to what they're doing in CERN. You know, in CERN in Switzerland, they're trying to find the study what dark matter is. And you know, if they understand what dark matter is, that's actually going to give us options to maybe even create some new types of technology. You know, some futuristic technology if we understand what dark matter is. Or if we can like manipulate gravity and that sort of thing. Like there's hundreds of millions of dollars spent in these types of like in this types of endeavors of like trying to figure things out. So you can imagine if you're competing against these people at a retail level, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. So the more you keep your money, your concepts like dumb money concepts, I think the better it is for a retail trader, because the ordinary retail trader will never have access, and it can never compete on these levels. So, you know, the only edge that we have is that we can stick to maybe 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades a day. But for a hedge fund, it's a bit different, right? Because when you get money from clients, you have to create a portfolio and have all this due diligence, because you're moving so much money around that you have to take trades. You know, you're going to be buying and selling at the same time. You're going to be using correlations, and there's so much data that goes into this. So, you know, when the industry says they're smart money concepts, man, 99% of these people, they can't even do the due diligence. It needs to be smart money concepts, you know, because that takes like a lot of research. So it's much easier to follow a guy who says fair value gaps and then builds a nice little story purely off technical analysis and then tells you that's why that's happening. Call out some liquidity grabs here and there. You know, it sounds convincing as a smart money operation, but it really isn't. Like, you have to do a lot of due diligence. You have to look into your macro fundamentals and all of these things. And also, bookmap is not going to help. Maybe the closest thing as a retail trader gets is looking at the macro fundamentals. Because when it comes to money and it comes to trading, man, you're competing against people who have hundreds of millions of dollars on that smart money platform. And they don't only trade like currencies, they trade like a bunch of other stuff too. So yeah, I think just like this is perfect, you know? Just like this has been working for me for the past, how long have I been trading now? I think 5 years. 5 years, 8 months. Yeah, 5 years, 8 months. But for the past, let's say 4 years, 4+ years, man, like just sticking to a few trades a day, taking a loss here, accepting the loss, and then just moving over to the next trade. That works, you know, that works. You take it easy. You take a loss in the London session, take a trade in the maybe pre-New York or NY session. You know, and whatever outcome you get, just call it a day and then just come back the next day. And then just do that over and over again. And in a way that is like stress-free. That you don't have to overcomplicate. You don't get a lot of analysis paralysis. You don't burn out. You know, people burn out a lot. Try to do like a lot of due diligence on a day-to-day basis. Because, you know, day trading is also requiring some level of simplicity. If you're taking trades on a day-to-day basis, you can't afford to always be trying to have your tentacles everywhere. You know, trying to look at the heat map and all of these things, you're going to burn out because that's like a day-to-day thing you're doing. But maybe if you're taking less trades in a year, then you can get away with it. So if you're a day trader, then man, keeping it as simple as possible, I think works the best. And focusing on managing risk, you know. I hope that makes sense. I keep an eye on it, but during my backtesting doesn't help me much. If it works for you, keep crushing it, bro. End goal is to mint the market. Yes, end goal is to mint the market. End goal is to mint the market. That's why reset chart comes with no indicator. It's not third party or a tool, just Google equilibrium. If it's a price action thing, then I think the more closer to price action it is, the better. But yeah, you got to learn how to read the candles anyway at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, there's certain things which move the market, for sure. Those are the fundamentals. That's what we can all see. Whenever we get some kind of fundamental come in and we get some directional bias, like such as what we had from NFP giving us bias on a Friday, and then how price has just been slowly trickling towards the upside. But right now, let me see. We don't have anything. I want to sell gold inherited from my grandmother. What are tax implications? Wow, this is funny. But never expect something like this on TradingView. Let's see, according if gold... Ask Wallet Wise. Oh, this is an ad. Money control. EQ is basically the middle of the highs and lows of the previous day daily candle. Oh, okay. EQ is the middle of the previous highs and lows. So the EQ would be somewhere around here. Yeah, highs and lows tend to work quite nice as some kind of confluence. So another thing people like to use is the Asia session highs and lows. So you can see like this has been Asia highs and we got the Asia lows. Now we're just taking out the Asia lows. You know what this really helps? It helps with definitely sort of navigating where you're currently sitting at in the market. That I can agree. I used to do this a lot. Asia high, Asia low. And I would go as far as to map out the previous days Asia high and Asia low. And you do tend to see like some kind of strong kind of it does help you kind of navigate the market a bit better, because you can see this is a Asia high from also yesterday, you know. So now this is forming like some kind of a strong support area, but you know, if we start breaking below it, you know, maybe we can see a pretty strong sell-off here coming into the market at this point. But we have to respect below the current days and previous days Asia highs. You're gonna see like markets tend to line up quite nicely with them. But it's also about consistency, you know. If you can consistently point these levels out and then have them to good use, I think it's pretty nice. Because right now, that's what I'm seeing as a confluence. And we also got a 1 minute accumulation currently lining up beautifully with those two areas over there as well. Especially if it starts to break below 33.64-ish. And then have like a really big dump. Well, what are these dead candles? Yeah, I see. You can respect that area. You know, it's all confluence. Also got a nice little SMA over here as well. I think that's going to look pretty nice. %, fib, bro, between any two swing points. Yeah, you could use a fib, true. Man, I love your words. I'm gonna miss you for sure. Thank you, Elton. Hopefully I'm not going anywhere. Planning on canceling me. Hey, you know, speaking the truth over here, might get cancelled. YouTube already tried to cancel me once. Yeah, it's funny, man. YouTube gave live streamers a hard time. I think this was like last month, but it keeps the other videos on YouTube, which is insane. Those turning $50 to $1 million. Like, YouTube has no problem with $50 to $1 million, but it has problem with people telling you to take 1 or 2 trades, you know, manage your risk, be disciplined. That's when you start to get shit from YouTube. But once you start showing Lamborghinis and lifestyle and all this ridiculous stuff, for some reason, those guys don't get affected. But I think we should be good now, though. Imagine that, chat. They don't even put any disclaimers or anything. Tell you 100% win rate, become a millionaire in the next month. And that's still on YouTube, which is insane. I love CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla really does well to actually bring a few of these things to light. Yeah, I think now this thing is pretty tight stop on this as well. Really nice. Solid accumulation over here. Trading below those Asia lows. Just be like Eminem. He can't be cancelled. They've tried since a Slim Shady LP 1999 with no luck. Yeah, and I've noticed it's quite interesting. And the moment I start saying stuff like this, I know it's not stuff people want to hear, but I tend to see also the views tend to go down. So it is what it is. I mean, I get it. It's a motivation thing. You want to feel motivated, and that's the kind of thing that keeps you going in the beginning. For sure, it kept me going in the beginning. But at some point, you have to realize that you have to somehow take a step back and stop chasing so much. And then that's when you start receiving what you deserve. When you stop comparing, you stop chasing, you know, that sort of thing. Then you start to like actually look at the things which matter. Because trading is not meant to be fun. If it's fun, you're doing it wrong. Oh, I missed a bomber cloud sell? Yes. That was a nice little bomber cloud here. But you see how it's hovering just beneath these key marks? The Asia sessions. Asia lows. Could shoot right back up though. Because this whole range here is like about 71, 72 pips. It breaks those highs. Can I share a video on your Discord? If so, what channel? It's a world's #1 scalper. It's a 34-minute video. He talks about setups the way you do. I think your followers may get some benefit. I don't typically let people post like random YouTube videos here, because that's also like some kind of advertisement sometimes. But if you're doing like your own personal breakdown, then you can just, you know, post your own breakdowns over here. But hey, if you can just send the link over here onto I think send it over to what makes the most sense. Video analysis. Yeah, try send a link over to video analysis. Let me see. Let's see it here on stream what it is. Let's have a look at it. Let's see, today 1.56%. Okay, for the day, so I don't chase what happens now, so easy to hold. And if you got a daily target of, let's say, 1% and you end up taking the next trade, that should be easier to hold. Oh man, look at the distribution coming in towards the downside, respecting those previous Asia levels. Nice little SMA confluence in there too. Yeah, if you got like, let's say 1%, then it should be easier to hold the next position. I think you should have a rule like this for yourself as you're getting comfortable holding. Say, okay, so now I'm playing with the house's money, you know? If I'm already up for the day, what's the worst case scenario? I'm going to end with profits, less profits. It's not a bad case scenario to end with less profits, is it? You know, then you can get like a break-even trade, or you're just going to build that holding muscle a bit more. Yeah, so beautiful little setup over here. So that's what I mean. Like, if you can use those levels to your own benefit, then I think they will look pretty nice. If you're using the equilibriums or previous Asia highs and lows or point of control, like these things, they'll all work. You know, they work because somebody invented them. Somebody uses them. It's all a matter of like, does that fit in your daily routine? Does it make sense for you to keep plotting these things on the chart? You know, if it doesn't make sense, just get rid of them, because what you're doing is the same thing we do in our personal lives. We build a lot of clutter, you know, we're not good at letting things go and like having more minimal approach to life. We think we're always going to need something, so we're holding on to everything. But you see, if it's not serving you, it creates clutter. So if you don't need this, even if you see that it works, yeah, you can just remove it. You can just remove it and just focus on what you want to focus on. I think I got hopefully I don't get copyright for this.
So I will just wait for the sellers to show some kind of interest. Yes. As you can see,
Oh, that's a pretty nice gaming chair, Secret Lab. I also have gaming chairs, but they're actually not as comfortable as they look.
I will target this low for the first. Didn't get the perfect execution. Because to get the perfect execution, you need to see a little bit of retracement.
Oh, what's he using? Volume indicators? I feel like I've seen this video somewhere.
You see how much they are trying to push, but they are still here. This and now buyers took.
Does this guy do it live though? Let me go on the channel. Yeah, but there's no live. I'd love to at least see it happen live a few times. Doesn't have to do it all the time. But that's the thing I don't like about such things. You know, there's a lot of setting up. Like, a lot of these guys are good at setting stuff up. So they're going to set up like a really nice video. They're going to set up some really nice results. But I find it more interesting if you do it live. Like, if you think about all the people that you follow and look up to, like the really big names in the industry, they don't do it live. MambaFX, Lamborao, Qbanks. All these guys, they don't do it live. You know, so it's a bit of a different thing over there. FX Alex G. Even though he claims he does it live, he doesn't really do it live. So I think it's different. It's different. Anyone can claim to be the number one at anything, but not do it live. You know, then you can set everything up. That's why when I take all my positions, at least every single position, I want to be accounted for. You know, with like before after pictures, signal, timestamps, live stream VODs, like, you know, just something. You don't have to show how much you're making, because people are very sensitive about how much money they make. Some people make a lot of money, so they don't want the world knowing how much they make. And I understand that part. But at least if you can show us a skill, that's quite different, you know. There's a way that you can do things and just share some sort of value. And that's what I try and strive to do here. I don't have to show you my whole bank statements, and you don't have to know exactly how much I make and where I live and all of these things, because that's all personal, you know. At the end of the day, it is personal information. But there's a way that we can do things where we can still share and promote some kind of transparency and value. Because you're here for value, you know? You're here to learn how to trade and not... basically, we're not here to flex on each other. We're just here to like trade the markets and get better 1% every day. Hey Joshua, good morning, good morning. Only the OGs who do it live, I see, have a small following and a reel. Yes. Thank you for the sub, Chachin. The market is finally digesting NFP. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. It's finally digesting NFP. I did feel like we were going to trend today. I thought we could continue with the NFP volume, but it seems now it's exactly. This is the first time we're seeing some more bearish PA. What's that? You said Qbanks trades live? Let's go on his channel over here. Alright, so we got the live tab. Bro, this is literally... What is this? This is an 18-second live stream. 6 years ago. And it's just a picture of scenery. Or do you mean he trades live on his videos? It's like... Oh, that's cool. What does he trade though? US 30. Got that dirty 30. Man, this is how my charts used to look like in year 1 though. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of zones, a lot of big zones. These are like higher time frame zones are showing. He's got the Fibonacci's in there. He's using everything. So we got zones, SMAs, Fibonacci. I think he uses trend lines too. This is gonna create a lot of confusion. Like I can already imagine the mindset of someone who's trying to learn. This is gonna be very hard to replicate because when you're doing these chart work yourself, you're not going to be able to exactly draw it the way he draws it. You know, because sometimes when you got so much information on the charts, it becomes almost subjective. You know, so you wouldn't be able to replicate Qbanks if this is the way he does his analysis prior to taking a trade. And man, he's using fractals, he's using Fibonacci's inside Fibonacci's. This is something that's why I always say it's always best to learn the skill because you wouldn't be able to replicate this. Because it's going to be too subjective. So you see, I already know that. Boom. Saved myself a lot of time over there. But the problem was, when I was learning to trade, I was trying to replicate this. You know? And then that's what typically you spend a lot of time doing and wasting is replicating. Trying to replicate something especially like this. You know, okay, for TFX concepts, it's a little bit easier to replicate. I do try and leave my analysis to the minimum. Like you guys already see, my charts probably have only maybe like 3 lines on there. And then we have the concepts that we look at and the concepts we really dig into during the simulation sessions. And then you start to see these patterns for yourself, right? But there's not a lot of analysis on there. So it's a bit easier to replicate. But still, psychology will play quite an important role in your overall trading journey. You know, sometimes it's not just about getting a perfect replication. Because then otherwise you could teach a robot to do it and then the robot could perfectly execute it as close as possible every single time. But sometimes you get like these little situations like this where it's like, let's say you have a bearish bias and then you get a robot would take this buy, for example, based off the data. But then for you can see that maybe market's moving down. So instead of taking the buy there, you're going to use this as a fake out confluence to take the sells. And that's something that I do as well. That's something that I do. Sometimes I don't replicate exactly the way I should because I see that the way candlesticks and structure is printing, there's a higher probability that maybe becomes a fake out and then price moves down. Or sometimes, you know, price is trending really heavily, gives you a setup for a sell, but then you can see there's a whole lot of bullish momentum. So you try and avoid the sell so you can continue moving with the market. But that's the reason I don't put a lot of lines on the chart. Because I think the less lines that are on the chart, the much easier it is to actually like conceptualize. You know, for example, right over here, we can see that this is a no trade zone. And we can see the market's just moving sideways here. And again, it's the same thing that we mentioned before we took our trade was price was either going to move up from this area or it was going to move down. So now you can already start to see that the market does have these areas where it's like stops and then gives people a chance to get their trades in. And then that's typically where you want to be making a decision on your trades. Whether it's going to be like a buy with buy confirmations or it's going to be a sell with sell confirmations. But the idea is you want to give yourself at least a fighting chance. you know, to identify the correct areas that you need to be in. Because most of the time, like, you maybe find yourself when price is already distributing. You know, like the same thing that I spoke about up over here is literally the same thing I was speaking about down over here. And with this one, we had that Asia low and Asia high and low confluence as price was breaking below support, but it also accumulated here. You know, it gave another chance for people to get in. So you see that little accumulation right here and see how it broke out? It's basically the same thing happening here on the 5 minute or even the 1 minute up over here. Correct? So you don't need a whole lot of analysis because the market's, you know, the market's going to move like this anyway. So you want to see where can you be getting in to get these distributions, because I think that's what you're trying to catch. That's what a lot of us are trying to catch. But you don't need all these third-party tools and overcomplications to catch a distribution like this. You know, like how many pips do you want to catch? I think a range like this is pretty good. I think if you can make 2% a day, it's pretty good. 1% a day is pretty good. And if you're doing challenges, that also helps you pass challenges. You can hold trades longer, get better tight stop losses, maybe increase your risk. Hey Jorg, thank you for the sub. Yeah, I know this. This is a journey that I was on as well, chat. Like we're all on the same journey when we start to trade. So I very much understand the way Q Banks was just doing his analysis now. And I believe that was a recent video, so it means that's how he still trades. It's the same way my initial learning was as well. But man, I feel like in the end, you got to rip all that stuff away. And then it gives you more clarity once you start actually just seeing the market for what it is. And you start breaking certain boundaries. You know, because in the beginning, it's true. You're going to learn a lot. And you're going to have a lot on your chart. And then you slowly start to remove all that stuff. And coming down to the foundations. And you start to build more experience. And you understand better how the markets move. Raja's good. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's good because whenever someone teaches you about how the candles are forming and how they're printing and what needs to happen before a move happens, just the same way I'm doing here, that's a little bit more of substance. You know, it's a little bit more something you can hold on to. But if I start drawing massive zones and Fibonacci's inside Fibonacci's and trend lines, you're not going to be able to grasp all of that. I passed instant funding challenge, but yesterday sent a video that they didn't pay out anyone. Oh, I never had experience with that. You know, when I passed my funding challenge, I think funded programs were not as popular as now. But nowadays, they're really popular. So I don't know, maybe the environment changes a bit. I think when I did mine, there was only maybe, I think I only remember one, which was the FTMO. FTMO was like the main one. Man, nowadays... Yeah, nowadays, I don't know. I don't trade them. I really like Tetra. I'm impressed. He seems legit, man. I've been feeling hopeless with all the false people on the internet. Tetra is the first legit one. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Too bad Tori doesn't really do live streams. She just makes 100 videos about trading fucking lines. Yeah, but think about it. She take like 14 trades in the whole year. So that would be, what, 14 live streams. and some of those trades, they take days to play out. You know, so again, it's like... I think the people who are really good at trading are the ones who are able to do this sort of due diligence beforehand. You know, and then they can sort of like gauge. They can gauge how long something can take to learn. So if you're learning from somebody who takes like 14 trades in a year, and you're expecting to use the same strategy to take your same 5-10 trades a day, then you know there's going to be a difference in results for 100%. So, you know, these are certain things we can use to gauge outcomes. Yeah, but damn, looks like all the sells. Looks like London session was just selling pressure. The whole of London session. Let me see if my VPN is finally working here. Can I turn it on? All right, let's see. Man, still not working. Where is that bear tunneling to? I'm using tunnel bear here. China. It's going down to China. China. It's a good move to buy it for 30 to 50 pips, tight to sell. Yeah, you know, whenever I take a buy like this and it's a losing trade, this is all that I do. Is just I just watch the market. I don't revenge trade. I don't force any trades. I just wait for my next opportunity. So I think as we're coming into pre-New York, we could still be looking at a correction over here. About 71 pips. I think when you break down trading into a session perspective, you better understand the moves a bit more. You better understand like how pre-NY trades and how London trades and how pre-London trades. There's a certain way that the market moves during those times. So like even though it looks bearish now, and if you're just trading technicals without understanding the way sessions operate, then it will look like, you know, for just sells for the rest of the day. But that's not necessarily the case. With a pre-NY volume, I think we can get up here. I think we can get up here and retrace a bit more. And then maybe continue moving down later. Don't know if you guys have seen Matt trading Rocket Scooter guy. She trades on the 4-hour. I mean, I think it's a very positive thing to have a female in such a position like that, because we haven't had a lot of women traders, especially when I started trading. They were like close to zero, like barely you would see women traders. So I think what she is, she's what I think she's a good trader. She's a good trader, but on top of that, she is paving the way forward for new generation of traders. Man, because trading has evolved over the years. Like it's changed so much. Back in the days, even catching something like 10 pips was really frowned upon. You know, even trading like a 1 minute time frame or a seconds chart was really frowned upon, and everybody was trying to catch these really big bomber clock moves. Like I think kind of like a Q Banks still does. I'm pretty sure he's still catching these really big trades, or like Anthony's World and stuff like that. These guys are all cut from like a very old cloth of trading, you know. But the way the markets have evolved as well of late, they've been giving really different price action. So catching those similar moves that we used to see back in, like, let's say 2020, it's kind of like different now. It's kind of different. I think the people who are making a lot of money nowadays are the scalpers. Because, man, in 2020, we had Brexit going on. You know, we had a lot of things going on. We had COVID was happening. Gold is bipolar for swing trading. Yeah, man, that's a thing. That's a thing. You always have to focus on the fundamentals when swing trading. Because you have a lot of risk on, basically. So you can imagine if you take a buy like this, that's a lot of exposure not only to technicals but to fundamentals, as opposed to, let's say you take like a scalp, you know, maybe even like a 20 pip stop loss. Because what you're gonna see in the beginning is when you try and replicate these systems, you're gonna have a lot of your winning trades becoming losing trades. So you might see some profit, but then quickly price starts to go against you. And that also takes time for these other plays, for that to also play out. You know, if you're going to be doing it in a day, you're trying to catch the daily candlestick, correct? Because look, if gold moves like, let's say, all right, this NFP was wild. It moved like 800 pips, but let's say on average like 500 pips. So you're kind of trying to be more realistic, you know? So let's say if you want to use a bigger stop and you're trying to catch a good amount of pips and you want to do that within a day. So you have about roughly like 500 pips to work with. So you also must not be too greedy. So you have to say to yourself, okay, you know, if that's going to be the limit, how many pips am I really aiming to catch? Even with those really big playbooks, those big entries, stop losses and whatnot. You can say, okay, maybe I'm going to take like, you know, 100 pips. Realistically, you can do like 100 pips or 200 pips, you know, but you can't expect to catch more than what the average is in a single day, unless you're like trading during a time there's a lot of volume, like the NFP, or maybe some news comes out. That's why for me, as I'm looking for buys over here, I can see it's very possible that price can move upwards, at least now towards like 33,410 ish area over there. Just because it's moving down now doesn't mean it can't move up later. Like this can still reflip and continue moving up bullish. We've seen that happen before. But, you know, the more it's moving down here, look at this. We're down 0.37%. 0.38%. The market definitely is trending bearish for the daily so far. 0.37. Yeah, and we got pre-NY here in the next 5 minutes too. Hey guys, thanks for that 100 likes, man. I appreciate it. Oh, waterfall. We just tapped 0.40. Fucking hell. London trend came in by... This was already by this 5 a.m. candle. We started to get a bit more direction. Because this was the first initial play here. This was like when the market was at 0%. So it was not yet trending on the daily. Then you had the initial push. And then you had another setup here. And then now it's starting to look more like that bearish PA. Because in hindsight, you wouldn't know that would have happened. That's what you would have seen. And that's what we had to deal with. You know, we had to deal with a bit of uncertainty here. And then we get the direction later. I'm also a girl and first trader in my family, but still not profitable, but trying and learning. I hope one day, yeah, you're gonna definitely do it. I mean, if you set that as a goal for yourself and you work towards it, it's like getting a degree. You know, you're gonna set yourself a goal that you want to get a degree and you're gonna work towards it, correct? You're gonna do all the studying that you need to do. You're gonna pass your exams, and same thing in the market. You're just gonna study, and every day is an exam. Every day is a test. So you're trying to get your grades up. Your psychology every day needs to improve. So like, for example, today, if you take like, let's say 2 trades and you call it a day from usually taking more than that, that's like getting a little bit better. You're starting to manage your emotions. Or if you manage your risk in a losing trade, I think that's also really good. Or if you have a profitable trade, remain a profitable trade, as in you didn't get too greedy. So like every day is an opportunity that you can get a little bit better. You know what? One person I've been following as well is, she can be motivation as well, and her name is it's KZFX. So she's also an unprofitable trader, but it's quite interesting to see the journey she's putting in and the work she's putting in. So I think she requested her first payout. That was her first trading payout. So it's really nice when you see the up and coming like this. I think it's very motivational too, because that's how the journey is. It's a lot of like failures, and you can actually see it here too. You can really see it. It's a lot of failures, a lot of like second guessing, you know, like passing a challenge and then not feeling like you actually earned it because you got lucky, and then to losing the funded, and then to reapplying, and then, you know, you're always just trying to push your limits. And then every day you're just slowly getting better, and all the work is done behind the scenes. So this looks good on social media, but 90% of it is just done behind the scenes. Avik, today's gold bias is bearish. Yeah, now it's bearish. Now it's clearly bearish. We're down 0.40% here. I'm hoping M15 breakout is just a wick. The most opinionated traders are the least profitable ones. Yeah, that's true. The most humble traders are the most profitable ones. So you got to become a humble trader. Also another girl who trades, who's really popular. Instagram tag is called Humble Trader. But she trades stocks. Yeah, but man, the more humble you are, the more profitable you'll become. I believe that if gold closes below previous week's high today, we will be bearish tomorrow and the day after. It was actually a given that we were going to see bearish movement today. Yeah, I wish I got the memo. Except I did not get the memo, because I was still expecting price to go up. Because, you know, I saw that price had created a new lower low over here. A new significant lower low. But it's just unfortunate that it actually did give me an entry confirmation right before. And that was right before the bearish trend came in. And then that's when, you know, it becomes a little bit more obvious. But it was literally the last entry confirmation. The last entry confirmation. It could not have done that entry confirmation. But, you know, sometimes it happens. What can you do? I don't want to be that guy, but I said it this morning. Yeah, there's always something to be said after the fact. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately. You know, because if it moved up, we would be having a very different conversation if price moved up. Profitable. Does I love this girl. I wish she traded forex. Yeah, you can say she's in a humble phase. Man, we're all like that. Like once you start becoming profitable, it's not the ego that comes out, it's the humbleness which comes out. So you think you're gonna have an ego when you become profitable, but you're actually gonna be even more humbled. So I think it's a really good thing. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end off the stream over here. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for getting the likes up on the stream as well. That really does help the algorithm. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Adios.